All right, guys and gals, it's time for another monthly portfolio update. And wow, what a October that was. We finally got some volatility, especially in the beginning and at the end of the month there. As I said in my last monthly portfolio update, I was going to create some short positions on the SPY and on Bitcoin. I did do both of those things and they turned out well. I held another couple shorts along the way while also going long, and overall I'm okay with the results. So let's take a look, and then I'll give you my insights into what I expect in the future, as I always do, and what I'm looking at going forward. So for the tax-free savings account, we had a return of $2,244.56. It's still 100% XEQT, and that will probably never change. But overall, I'm not going to complain with that return. Now, jumping over to the RRSP, I didn't make any changes to this account either. So for those who are unaware, the RRSP is just consisting of XEQT, and it does hold a small bond component to it as well. So for the RRSP, we've got a return of $1,316.09. Nothing to write home about. Not entirely pleased with the results, but I mean, the bonds did kind of drag it down a little bit. I was actually expecting that bonds might do a little bit better given the interest rate cuts from Canada and from the United States. But what can you do? I'm not changing that bond component at all. So if it continues to drag down the returns a little, that's okay. The returns in the non-registered account should more than make up for that. And of course, it's in an RRSP, so it's exactly where the bonds should be. So not going to make any changes there. Onto the non-registered account, which is the margin account or the trading account. Had some fun this month, as I said, playing both sides. So I was going short SPY and also short Bitcoin. I did unfortunately cover my short on Bitcoin way too early, but I do not like to hold my shorts on Bitcoin very long. And I think most of you know why. It's a very volatile asset. Once I'm in the money, I'm usually a seller, right? Or sorry, covering my position. I'm usually just getting out of it. So I'll snipe a few percentage points and then I'm gone. I obviously could have made a lot more for anyone who was following crypto over the month of October. So probably could have made, 20% if I was perfect. But you know what? I'll sell for the 3% or so that I ended up making. With regards to SPY. So I generally always have a long position in SPY, but I went ahead and I added some puts. So I was buying the January 2027 $670 strike price puts. So I actually still do have one of those that I am holding, but there are varying different points in the month where I was having 2 or even up to 4 of those puts, and I would sell down to 1. So I still do have one of those puts just as an insurance or a protection. The market is high. There's all this talk about, possible AI bubble, yada, yada. And we can go into that. Maybe I'll do a video on that AI bubble. But let's take a look at the results. So in the non-registered, we've got a return of $5,515.36. If you look at this chart here that I've got from my Wealthsimple non-registered account, you'll see that the majority of the time, we're still just trending upwards. Whereas if you were to look at a chart of the S&P, actually I'll put one up here so you can see, it's a bit more volatile. So that shows you that the puts that I had in place and the shorts that I had in place My non-registered account was actually pretty stable for the month, a lot more stable than the overall market. And that's exactly what I wanted to try and achieve by going long and short. I wanted to kind of smooth out that curve, smooth out the volatility, and of course, I wanted to profit on both ends, which I did. Now, I will say, as I have said on the channel before, I'm not perfect. I did actually have one very minor loss. I did end up selling one of the put contracts at one point in time for, I believe, just under a $200 loss. I think it was 180, maybe 160. I'm not really sure, but we'll round that up to 200. But, you know, that's small change. I'm okay to take a little loss here and there. I'm not concerned. The amount of money that I made on the other puts way more than makes up for that $200 loss. And you know what? That is the cost of business sometimes. So not too much more to say about the non-registered account. That is all I really did, is shorting the Bitcoin and going both long and short SPY, doing that with puts and calls. However, going forward, I think I am going to incorporate some more assets to play with. The reason being is because of what I said earlier about how the market's high. It seems like maybe we might be leveling off a little bit, and I want to take advantage of that. So I think there's some assets that I can play with where I might have a little bit more of an edge. And also it helps me just diversify. So I am looking at oil. And I frequently look at oil. I think oil is an interesting asset to trade. I know a lot of people don't like trading oil, and I can understand that. There are reasons for that. Some very good reasons, actually. But I think I might branch out a little bit just because I also did say I was cautiously optimistic, and I do still maintain that stance. However, if anyone watched the last meeting where Jerome Powell spoke about unemployment and interest rates, and more notably how they feel about the December rate cut, it seems like they will not be cutting rates in December. Personally, I do not think they will. Anything could change over the next 2 months here, but I do not think that they are going to cut in December. They cut in October. I think they seem like they're putting it on the back burner for now. We have some things to iron out, and we don't want to rush it, right? If they keep cutting, they are going to possibly stoke inflation again. They don't want to cut too much too often. And Powell's remarks in his speech that he made sort of signify that there were some other people who did not agree. So it seems like some people do agree they should cut, and some other people agree amongst themselves that they should not cut. So there's kind of a balance between two forces, with some people saying, yeah, we should cut, and some people saying that we should not cut. Usually if that ever happens, they just don't do it. So going with, Powell's body language, his remarks, and what I personally feel, and the fact that they've cut 2 times now, I can't see them cutting in December, but anything can happen. I think the market took note of that as well, and I think that's why we're also seeing some leveling off. Definitely, we're going into sort of I wouldn't say a risk-off scenario. I definitely still think that risk is on the table, but I think people are more like me at this point, cautiously optimistic, and I think that's where they should be. I also think that there are some considerations around AI, and more importantly, with the amount of spending that's going on in that space. I think it is important to be mindful of the spending that companies are doing. I know that Meta took a huge hit on their earnings because of some one-time expenses they have, and I know Zuckerberg was talking about their CAPEX, which is their capital expenditures. So something to be just, considerate and, more mindful of going forward is the amount of money that these companies are spending. Yes, in most cases, they have the capital, they have the reserves, they've got the cash, they can spend. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to have these companies just pouring money consistently into AI and spending and spending and spending, but they're unable to deliver and show results for that spending. So shareholders don't want to see money leaving the business and not generating anything for the future. They don't want it to be wasted. So that's sort of a to be determined situation. And we're probably not going to see that kind of play out for, many months down the line. But at some point, we will know which companies spent too much and the companies that didn't spend enough and maybe got left behind on the AI race. So those are my thoughts going forward. I am still going to continue to play the markets. I will still have a position both long and short. At this point, I've got no plans to go either really long or short Bitcoin. And I will show you the crypto account here. Let's pull that up real quick before we forget. So for crypto, which is still 100% Bitcoin, we took a $620 loss. Quite a volatile chart there. I'm also obviously not surprised since I was shorting it. But as I said, I just wish I had the conviction to hold my short for longer. But that is life. So once again, just moving on to my thoughts here. I am hoping that Bitcoin drops to the 95,000 range. I will probably start to buy some more at that point from my long-term portfolio for that account that I just showed you. I did see it hit 99 and I thought about buying some at 99, but no, I'm going to maintain my stance. If it hits 95, I will buy some more long, not as a trade, just to hold. But at this point, I can't see myself trading Bitcoin up or down in either direction. With that being said, I do apologize that this video came out a little late. Honestly, I have no good excuse other than I was busy. I was working a lot. I spent time with friends and family, Halloween parties, this and that. So there was just a lot going on my plate, but we will get back into it. The next monthly update will be on time, and I will have a video coming out to you guys that is non-related to my monthly portfolio updates. So wish me luck in the future and all my trading. I definitely wish you luck in the future with your portfolios. I want to thank you all again for your support. I've had some great comments. Hopefully I've helped some of you. I do stay on top of the comments even if I'm unable to produce a video for a couple weeks. So definitely my email and the comments I will always stay on top of. So thank you for the comments. Thank you for the love. Hopefully I have answered some of your questions and been beneficial to you. So once again, thank you for watching. This has been Snackable Wealth. Until next time, keep snacking and I'll see you later.